John Stanko of icagaels.com, being joined by Jamie Smith, senior volleyball player and president of SAAC, and Gabriel Finch, senior swimming and diving student athlete and vice president of SAAC. How you guys doing?
Good. How about yourself?
Hanging in there. Gabe, how about you?
Oh, doing pretty good. Feels good to be back in New Rochelle.
Yeah, Gabe, I'll ask you kind of a little bit of normality getting started. Classes started this past Monday, the day we're recording. So obviously they're all remote right now. They're all online, but seeing you have a little bit more interaction with your teammates and with your friends. Now you've started classes. So does it feel like a little bit more normal now? It can never be as normal as it was, but a little bit of the normality?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an abnormal time. I think, just showing up on campus was different and having to have those conversations with people about trying to be socially distant and all of that. It's, never had to have those conversations before, but it is good to be back to a sort of normal. I live with 5 other swimmers, so that's our circle. We try and stick together. So it's been good to just, it was really nice being home with the family, but it's also really nice to be back with the team here. So I'm enjoying myself so far.
Get a little bit more freedom now, just a little bit more freedom.
Yeah.
Jamie, how about yourself? Obviously devastating news with the fall sports being canceled, though the MAAC has the student athlete safety utmost in mind. So what's this like been for you with classes starting now and kind of a new fall for you that you're not used to?
It's definitely been different from years past, but similar to Gabe, I'm just happy to be back with, my teammates and seeing familiar faces on campus. I live with 3 of my teammates too, so we're trying to keep our circle small and just do what we can to stay active and stay together, and also get to know our newcomers who have just got here for the first time, and it's their first time being on a college campus. So we're just trying to show them the ropes and the ways to go about being at Iona.
So I'll ask kind of both you guys, you guys are both on the executive board for SAAC, obviously, and I think this past summer was probably one of the busiest for Iona SAAC in a long time, just with all the different variables going on. So Jamie, I'll ask you first as the president, did you meet with SAAC more over the summer, both on the school level and on the conference level, to kind of talk about everything that was going on?
Definitely. This summer was the most that I've ever met with both MAAC SAAC and Iona SAAC. As for Iona SAAC, we were having pretty much monthly meetings just to talk about current events, and obviously before we had canceled fall sports, we were talking about that and just ways that we can kind of stay involved and stay engaged throughout the summer. And then with MAAC SAAC, we were working on a variety of things. We were working on a voter registration campaign that we just launched, as well as we were working on diversity and inclusion guidelines, helping fight social injustice that was going on in current events, and just trying to stay together as much as we can, with Zoom being a resource for us. So that was nice.
And Gabe, it's your first year on the SAAC executive board, I believe. So different perspective for you, and obviously with the monthly meetings, meeting with Jamie and the rest of the fellow Iona student athletes. So what's it been like for you over the summer?
Yeah, I think that's one of the beautiful things about work from home is the interconnectivity of being able to use Zoom and talk to people more frequently. Going away from the summer during a normal year, I think we kind of just would have forgotten about it and maybe not had some of those conversations in SAAC meetings. But having all of these things, Zoom and Skype and all these resources virtually, I think that's been incredible. I know Jamie and I had plenty, pretty amazing conversations this summer about working through the cancellation of sports and all of that, and just talking about SAAC. So it's been nice, but it's definitely different.
Well, Gabe, you're kind of the head figure of a social media campaign run by Iona SAAC, Stop the Spread. You kind of steamrolled this, and we put out the first video a couple of days ago, the coaching staff, and I know you've talked about it with fellow SAAC members and student athletes. So can you kind of talk about the hashtag Stop the Spread campaign? How did this idea originate, and how's it been like talking with the teams about this campaign?
Yeah, so I thought that it would be a good idea to use our platforms as athletes, on our social media platforms to just spread awareness of everything going on and tell everyone that we are going to do our part in wearing our masks and staying socially distant. washing our hands as much as we can and doing all of that stuff, coming back into the New Rochelle community. So, it's spreading that message about keeping the Iona community safe, the New Rochelle community safe. And so that was the point of the social media campaign. And we're excited to further that. We're going to put up some new videos on the SAAC Instagram and continue to just spread awareness.
And Jamie, you've kind of been at the head of this MAC social media campaign with the hashtag MAC votes. You mentioned it earlier about voter registration. This is a campaign that's not only on the school level, but on the conference level. So can you kind of talk about how this idea originated on the conference level and what each school is doing to promote it?
Sure. So the idea itself originated with Commissioner Rich Enzer of the MAC. He was talking about how can we as SAAC and as student athletes, use our voice for greater good and for positive change. So we it started with a working group of I think there was 5 student athletes from a bunch of different schools throughout the conference. And we kind of just set out with main goals for the campaign, which we ended up deciding would be to get all eligible student athletes to register to vote, be able to obtain absentee ballots for those who need them, and then also to facilitate giving access to those student athletes who want to vote in person. So kind of our main message with the campaign and of why we thought it would be important is just because with everything that's going on in the world today and just the future, we know that we're able to make a change and be a part of the change that we want to see in the world. And one way we can do that is by voting.
Well, I think Iona SAAC and you guys in particular have done a great job kind of leading by example. And I think Director of Athletics Matt Kowalski talked in your welcome back meeting about how you, the student athletes, are kind of the example for other students. You can be the leaders and have an impact about the way you conduct yourselves on campus. So I want to ask, moving forward, both you guys can answer this question. Gabe, I'll ask you first. What do you see Iona SAAC doing in the months going forward? Because there's going to be a lot of adjustments for everyone, not just student athletes, and there's going to be other social media campaigns that come forward and that people get passionate about. So how do you see Iona SAAC leading the student athletes in the college going forward?
I think we're going to do the same thing that we've been doing all summer, and it's just leading by example, spreading the awareness of certain things with social injustices, stopping the spread and all of that. But I know something that Jamie and I were really happy with that we're going to be able to do in the next couple weeks is actually get a diversity and inclusion chair on the SAAC board. So we're going to have someone whose primary focus is really not making sure it's diverse, but just spreading awareness of diversity and inclusion and helping the athletic community learn about all of that. So that's something that we're going to look into and hopefully have finalized in the next couple weeks. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff come up this year, and I think we just need to make sure that we lead from the front, proactive about everything, and help everyone around campus.
Well, Jamie, you're the leader of the leaders. You're the president of SAAC. So what about from your perspective? How do you see this going forward? And that inclusion of the diversity chair on the executive board is obviously a great first step.
I think similar to what Gabe said, just going off of that, we've had multiple conversations just about how we're going to try to take it day by day and just keep doing our part and setting the tone and setting the example with being on campus and being responsible within our community. And also, I think at this present moment, we have a unique opportunity because obviously we're not competing and we're not in season and even out of season sports. We really have a lot of time on our hands. So I think that we can use that time to, create positive change and to get ahead on certain things that we might not have been able to do in years past because we were competing. So I think it's going to be a great year. I think another event that we're going to continue to do, and it might be in a different way given the situation with coronavirus, but Lift a Ween. We're going to look to work on that, and it's going to be different from years past because obviously with the regulations with coronavirus, but we're going to try to do the best that we can to just keep a sense of normalcy, but also get creative with what we're doing this year.
Well, you guys have shown great leadership thus far, and it's only the summer, so we're excited to see what the fall and the winter and the spring semesters bring for you guys. So Jamie Smith, Gabe Finch, appreciate you joining me today, and I'll see you on campus soon.
Thanks, Danko.
Thanks, Sanko.